Hey, yeah.
Are you ready? Hold on 1 second.
Pocket full of POCs, glory go to G.O.D. I ain't been outside in a minute, I'm trying to be low-key. Made my city great before the MAGA hats and GOP. When she put that comfort on by B, she trying to CO me. Let me find out, take a little time out.
Hear
Everywhere
myself
I go, it's
loudly,
public change,
clearly
I
like
bring the
before.
dots out. I don't let
Alright.
nobody cook for me, I'd rather dine out. Praying every day, but God, I know that it's my time now.
Hello,
Yo,
welcome back. You came to episode 2.
Episode 2, you made it. Welcome to the Put,
Put
the Kids to Bed podcast. There we go. We got it right this time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very exciting week. Had a lot of good feedback. Had a lot of good, everything. And thank y'all once again for tapping into episode 1. And we're super excited to go ahead and start episode 2. So
So,
we got some housekeeping.
yeah,
Housekeeping. So
housekeeping.
We got a couple housekeeping things that we do want to cover off on. So basically, it's been a very busy week. My TikTok's been doing pretty well, and I've had a lot of people attacking me on TikTok for some of my thoughts and some of my opinions, and attacking my parenting skills and style and different things like that. And excuse me, you have a lot of different people that want to talk about how you can raise your kids, but they only see you raising your kids through the lens of the internet. And I want to ask you your opinion, since everybody's attacking me, but they're not hearing too much from you. How do you feel about raising kids and raising children in this era of the internet where everybody has a say-so, everybody has an opinion, and even your kids have so much insight and so much awareness into so many different things, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Google, whether it's the internet and iPads and all of these different things that kids have access to?
I feel like it's like a tricky subject because it's like on one end of the spectrum, I feel like you should be able to like post your kids, like post what you want, post your life. Like if you're a dad, like you are a dad and I'm a mom. Like if you're a parent, your life is going to be kind of focused and centered around your kids. So
Right.
I feel like naturally that's what you would want to share.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of that, it's like the moment you decide to put yourself out there, the public kind of feels like it's their
I've
like
heard
you put it out there, so
I
why
have a
can't
right
I?
to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I see that on both sides. Like I see the side of where you put it out there, you have the right to do that, but so many people feel entitled to like tap in or be able to say what they want. Like I'll give a perfect example. I posted a picture or a video, and me and Sissy were outside. She didn't have any shoes on. And people were like, put some shoes on that baby. It's a whole bunch of grandmas. Like, you know how grandmas be like, put some shoes on that baby. It's cold outside. It's the wintertime. But they don't know, like, where we stay is it's 65 degrees outside during the day. Like, she's outside playing. And they don't see that you're right there.
Well, also we were like just standing outside for like 1 second.
And I just wanted to be candid and take a video. So I think that's something that is so touchy that a lot of people don't see. They're so quick to judge through the lens of that 15-second video, but like, do you know the full aspect? I think that kind of goes into like something that's been really popular recently is like the Travis Hunter situation, and like people judging his lady off of what she's, granted, she needs to shut up sometimes, but like they're judging her through like 30-minute clips or 45-minute clips, and they don't see her when she's
No, but like my thing with both of them, her specifically, like they're so, it seems like young and like still like
stupid. Like they're
they
young and
don't-
dumb. Like,
yeah, like it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, but on her side, it's kind of like if you put something out there, you can't like try to go explain it and like defend yourself, because once people make up their minds, then it doesn't matter what you say. It's
Right.
just gonna be like,
right, you gotta have that fuck it mentality on the internet. Like, fuck
Yeah.
y'all, I'm finna say what I want to say, and y'all can't say nothing about it, because at the end of the day, I
But
kiss my ass.
it kind of does make me want to like keep my social media like just friends and family,
Yep.
because then I feel like I'm posting to people that I don't get to see all my friends. I don't live in the same state as all my friends, so like of course I want to share and show like my life and my kids and like everybody,
So
that's
you
like what social media.
you say you want to keep it to friends and family. And with that being said, like, how do you feel about posting each other being public in our relationship? I feel like we just posted, like, we're literally going live with a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something that we should definitely talk about. And granted, y'all, we do a lot of level setting off camera and kind of like tapping into each other and our feelings and our emotions and seeing where some of those boundaries are. But in terms of that, how do you feel about like posting each other on social media or like couples? I hear a lot of the time people say, "Oh, don't if you want your relationship to be successful, you shouldn't post that person." Or what's your opinion on that?
I mean, I feel like it just depends. Like, I kind of it kind of goes hand in hand with the kid thing because like most people want to post their life. Like I'm married, so
Yep.
the things I'm doing is with my husband
Yep.
or with my kids. So
Yep.
like, of course, I'm gonna want to post them. But like,
Mhm.
I also understand wanting to keep things like a little bit more private too.
Yeah.
I see like as I get older, I see like
The value.
in both.
Yeah.
So like everybody knows it's not like a people don't, oh she's married. I didn't even know. Like
Mhm.
no, it's not, obviously not that,
Yeah.
but it is also like I'm not posting like our every single move, and even this
Exactly.
podcast is just like an insight to our thoughts,
Yeah.
but it's still not like we're like
Dropping all the tea.
vlogging our
Yeah.
our
Like,
how I don't know what I'm you know what I'm
yeah.
trying to say like
I feel like it's fear mongering. Like I don't like that people say that you shouldn't be able to post your significant other. I feel like, for example, like I feel like you make me happy. Like I feel like a lot of our experiences are together, and a lot of the things that we do are together, and like, we take a lot of our pictures together, and we do a lot of that. So a lot of times when we go on vacation or when we do something, and I want to drop a dump, I realize like 7 out of my 10 good pictures are with you, and at that point it's just like, nah, fuck that. I can't like. I'm not gonna hold back. Like I can't post my girl. Like, and a lot of people are scared of saying like, oh, somebody's gonna attack your relationship. Or, but at the end of the day, I feel like if it's real,
I was about to
it's
say
real.
people
Like
cannot attack something
that is bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really important to make sure that you build that and that you build that with your partner, and you make sure that your relationship is bulletproof. Because if you don't, if it's weak, if it has a weak foundation, that goes back into what we were talking about last episode with experience and stuff. If you have a weak foundation, it's going to be extremely easy to break it down and break it apart, and it's going to be crumbling from within. And then once other people start to expose some of those flaws, it's going to fall apart right away. So I just feel like your partner got to be aligned with you. You got to know what you got going on. Y'all got to know each other's flaws, each other's the worst things about each other, all the
yeah
skeletons. You got to know
yeah
everything, and
yeah
the way you find that out sometimes may not be the best, but
but once you know it does kind of like
yeah, you gotta move past it and kind of have those conversations and accept each other for who you are once you make that initial commitment,
yeah
stuff like that. I think that kind of goes into one of our other topics for housekeeping.
Yeah, so we can kind of recap from
Hmm.
last week's or last episode.
Yeah,
We got some really good feedback. I really appreciate everybody that watched and also that like messaged us or sent us something that like, wow, I enjoyed the podcast. I'd love to see this next. Can I be a guest? And like we put on our social media or Instagram who would potentially want to be a guest. So yeah, I think think it's going well.
yeah, I think it's going really well too. I'm excited to have some guests, but we did think it was really important for we did have two guests on our last episode. Our kids were on our last episode a lot, and I feel like it was really important to give y'all a little bit more of us, kind of go dive deeper into some of our thought processes, and allow y'all to get to know us and hear us a little bit more before we start bringing other people and have other opinions and be able to entertain and do things with guests. Granted, when we do have guests, we have a lot coming, and we have a lot of fun games that we want to play with some of our guests.
Yes, it's like I want it to be a mix of both. Like I want it to be kind of like a brain dump, but also like fun and like
Hmm.
if we do have more people on and like
Yeah,
we can kind of get other people's opinions and stuff. But
yeah.
it's nice to just be able to like
This is therapy.
it really is,
It really is
and
therapy.
like we need
Yeah,
we
we
need
need
this.
So granted, like y'all are doing us a favor by tapping in, but like we're really doing ourselves a favor by just being able to sit down and like have this open discussion with each other and kind of protect each other's emotions and feelings and understand and get that perspective from each other.
Yeah. So, I guess getting into today's episode and kind of what we want to talk about a little bit is like communication and like growing in communication and like listening to your partner and understanding what your partner needs versus like what you think your partner needs. Like,
Right.
I think we've really grown in the aspect of communication. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like when I was younger, I used to just like shut down. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing to say.
Right.
like,
Especially when you get in your feelings.
like the message and I'm gone.
Yeah. And me, like, well, it's two different sides. So I feel like I'm one of those people who is very nonchalant until I care.
Yeah.
And when I care, if I flip the switch completely, and that is often off-putting to a lot of people because once I start to care, I become very passionate about things.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to communication and growing within communication, I think one of the biggest things is understanding past the words of what somebody is saying. So I think that took us a long time though. Like that's not something easy to do, being completely honest. Like understanding the undertones of what somebody's saying, because at the end of the day, you can always encourage transparency, but sometimes people are saying things and you gotta have the ability to know that you need to dive deeper on a topic. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, sometimes it's a little bit unfair. You feel like it's unfair, sometimes you feel like somebody's picking or anything like that, but you gotta dive deep into those topics. I got a question for you.
What's up?
So, top, let's go 5. Top 5 things that are important for communication. Like what are the most important things when you're communicating? And let's keep it to in relationships. Let's not do like friends and stuff like that. Let's keep it in relationships. What are your top 5 things in terms of when you need to communicate with somebody?
I feel like you need to be direct.
Direct,
You need to be honest.
honest,
You need to say what you mean.
direct, honest. You need to say what you mean.
5 is
Yep. Go ahead. Keep going. Get it off.
a lot. Transparent
Transparent.
and know timing and watch your timing.
Watching your timing. I think you forgot something that you always say.
What?
Listening to understand and not listening to respond.
Yeah, that's important too, because it's like sometimes you can get so caught up in like what you're about to say or like what you're thinking
Yep.
that you don't even like process what your partner's saying, and you could have probably avoided X, Y, and Z. But
Let's dive a little bit deeper into direct too. I think that's my biggest thing.
come on, go ahead.
You got to be confrontational. Like you got to just lay it all on the line. You can't be indirect with your communication with somebody when you're talking to somebody. And this is something that we argue about a lot. And she's always like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. And I understood it 2 days later, but I had to get there to understand it. I had to sit on it. But at the end of the day, like I'd be like, bro, I gotta get these thoughts off. And I think it's extremely important for me to be able to just like cut deep sometimes. And often that's taken as I hear a lot of women say this, but like their partner's mean or their partner's like demeaning or down talking. But you got to be able to decipher, is it down talking or are they just trying to be as concise and clear cut as possible so that they can understand? And if your partner does that, that means they love you. Being completely honest, if you got a man who's beating around the bush all the time, that man don't really love you. If you got somebody who is breaking it down, putting it in your face, and just telling you like it is, like that person really loves you, because that means they want to see change. I told her when we got married, I was like, bro, like we locked in for life. Like I can't just be bullshitting with you anymore at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, I need you to continue to grow, and I need you to continue to grow to be the wife that we need you to be. And not just for me, for our kids, for our family and everybody else around us. I need you to be that person. And I think that's something that we've grown with, and you are starting to get on my ass as well.
And I was going to say, I feel like in the beginning, I took that so like, oh my gosh, like how could he ever say that?
Right. Yeah, you will be repeating things that I said to you like 2 years later. Like,
Like,
you remember when you said this to me?
Yeah.
Like, damn.
But I can say I've grown to appreciate it
Mhm.
because now I really just I don't have to question. It takes away that like anxiety of like, is he thinking this? Is he thinking that? Like, you don't have to question what you're thinking because you're just gonna tell whoever. I mean, we're talking about like relationships, but this is just his personality.
Yeah.
Like, he will tell whoever.
If I can't tell you, who I'ma tell?
And so I feel like in the beginning that was like something that I was like not like sensitive to, but like, ooh.
Yeah, like, well, why is he blanking on me right now? Like,
But I've grown to appreciate and understand a lot more and like be able to kind of even defend you in some ways of like,
other people.
yeah.
Why is he so mean?
Why
he-
is not even mean? I feel like
Yeah, let's switch the narrative on that. Let's
Yeah.
change that narrative around
I
me.
feel
Go ahead.
like-
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like not mean, but just direct.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking. Like that's what we were deep diving on. Just very direct.
Yeah.
And I feel like that can kind of like be off-putting to some people to be outspoken. But for me, like I feel like I'm more reserved. I'm more on the reserved side than the outspoken side. I feel like I have an outgoing personality, but I'm more reserved. Like I'm not one to just.
I would say you're more liked too.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I read something, and I'm not calling you unauthentic at all, but I can be overly authentic sometimes. And I said I read the other day, it was on Threads, that being disliked by people is the tax for being authentic. Like, and I feel like I felt that so honestly, because I've always felt like I'm the asshole, or like people don't like me because of something I say, or like my lack of a filter and stuff like that. So I'm glad we're changing the narrative on that today. That's making me happy.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah. I feel like, yeah.
Gang in this bitch, gang in this bitch. Gang.
No. I feel like, yeah, not mean. That's like such a.
Yeah. Can I give you my top 5? Thanks for listening. Cool. Number 1, I'm gonna say understanding what the person is saying before you speak. So I always ask when we're talking, what do you mean by that? Or like, can you explain deeper? That's something I learned, because before going into what you say about listening to understand instead of listening to speak, I would have my answer already ready, because like I just like to argue. So like everything I say is gonna be I'm baiting you for the next thing, or like I'm treating it like a debate.
Yes.
And I treat a lot of arguments like debates, so I could win. But like at the end of the day, if you win and you can't even cuddle up with your partner at night, you really lost. Like you can't even lay up, you can't do none of that. So you really lost at the end of the night. You sleeping on the couch, you lost. So
yeah, it is kind of like learning how to pick your battles. That's something we've learned a lot about. Like you don't need to go for. Sometimes it's like, okay, I was wrong, you were wrong, like, and 2 wrongs don't make a right. So
agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. It's not the end of the world. What do you want for dinner?
Yep.
Like,
dinner always gonna fix the problem.
What are we eating for dinner?
Yep.
Like,
are we going out? Are we
Are we
cooking?
cooking?
We
What?
want some dessert? What we want?
can we get some wine? Like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna just eat for?
Speaking of wine, where is my wine at right now? I need a little splash break. This sponsorship is brought to you by Bay Bridge Pinot Grigio Colombard. It's delicious.
Is that even allowed?
And it came from Harris Teeter, and it's hitting. If you don't know what Harris Teeter is, you better ask somebody. Okay, number 2, taking space when needed.
That's a good one.
Because a lot of times, I know me, we gotta finish this conversation right now.
Me.
We gotta do this right. We gotta get it all out right
No,
now.
but also when we finish the conversation, we have to show each other we're not mad, so we have to just continue to be
Yeah, like,
so we just have to continue to be together after to assure that it's over.
yeah, and ask each other, are you okay,
Okay, like-
17 times, so you could piss each other off again. Are you okay? Are you good? Anything else you need to talk about?
Did you want to say anything else?
Right. So
You're walking on eggshells
yeah,
the
with
rest
each
of the
other.
day. Like,
Hell yeah.
let me not say the one false move.
Right. Or you just be looking for some. You made breakfast the wrong way. You ain't cooked the sausage enough. You ain't make the bacon crispy enough. The grits was slimy. You be finding reasons to be mad at each other. But taking space is extremely important because I feel like throughout our conversations, one thing that I used to do was I would be angry and we'd be having conversation, and I feel like I was mature enough to navigate through a conversation, but a lot of the times things that could have been said a lot better would just get thrown at you and through anger.
Yeah.
And not even being able to, like, I'll be able to phrase something or be able to logically think or be able to put myself in your shoes. And that's going to be my segue into the next thing, taking space, but also being able to put yourself in your partner's shoes is extremely important. Understand their side of the story.
Yes.
Because one of the things we talk about a lot is like how you see something versus how I see something.
And it's like you're always going to, not in a bad way. I feel like this oftentimes can be confused with something that's negative when it's really just truthful.
Yep.
But like people are just always going to see it only their way. Like they might be able to understand your point, but like they see it their way. Like they thought it their way, so that's the way they think about it. They understand your point. They're not saying your point is wrong, but it's no point in trying to argue something so deeply and passionately, trying to change someone's mind so permanently when at the end of the day they might agree with you, agree to disagree, but you know, it's just not always worth it.
Not always worth it. Good one. Number 4 is if you can't come to an agreement, you have to figure something else out. Like a lot of the times I used to get mad at you when you say, okay, let's just agree to disagree. But now sometimes it's more so like, what can we do to, okay, we don't agree. End of story. What can we do to just work around this? Let's go do something fun. Or like let's go take some space. Take 45 minutes, or I'll go play Madden and you'll go watch a TikTok or watch a YouTube video or something. And then like, let's get back together after that.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lot of the time with kids too, you really don't have the time to be angry.
Right.
Because at the end of the day,
you're like,
Mom, can I have pizza? I want a snack.
And then we have to work together with them. It's not like we can be mad at each other with them because we need each other's help. Like,
and they are the real enemies. We can't be enemies, and they can't be enemies too.
Don't call them enemies.
They be the enemies, bro. Like, have you ever like what it's like getting dressed when we all they be fighting us. Then you gotta fight to take baths. You gotta fight to put on clothes. They can't wear crunchy pants. They have to have soft pants on. So you already be pissed off enough getting your kids ready, and that's not a bad thing. I think your kids are gonna always work on your patience. Mm-hmm. But we gotta work together. We gotta be a team because we're already almost outnumbered. If you have 3 kids, you're outnumbered and you're gonna lose a lot of battles. Just know that. Be patient with it, but you're gonna lose a lot of battles. So.
Yeah.
And then go ahead. You about to say something?
I was just going to say 2 is enough because 1 and 1.
But no, I could do another kid. You just got to take time. You gotta space it out right. You got to do it so one of the kids might be on your side every once in a while.
That's fair enough.
Like the oldest or like whoever.
Yeah.
But number 5 is whatever works for you guys. I think that's big. A lot of the times you have perspectives based on what you heard from somebody else, what the common conception is of something, or what the public opinion is on a topic. But it's more so what works in your household, what works in your bedroom, what works in your car, what works in your space, what works in your work offices, what works in your phones.
I don't know when we were talking about this with a group of our friends. But someone in the group said, like, we were talking about marriage. I don't know how we got on the topic, but they were like, if it works for your marriage, then it works for everything. Like, it doesn't have to be like, what everyone else thinks. It doesn't have to be like.
I must have been high when we was having this conversation because I don't remember it.
I'm talking about
I'm sorry.
what's the name of that place? The dessert bar when we went to Crave.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
and we were talking.
I was high, but I remember
Were we
the gist of
even
it.
like maybe even? I don't know. We were deep diving something. Could have been religion. Could have been some. It was something.
Yeah.
And like it just really. I was only saying that to say like it really does. Just if it works for you, like it doesn't matter. Like
honor in your marriage.
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I have a question regarding that because this is kind of what some of those conversations was about.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like anything sexual within your marriage is honoring your marriage?
I feel like if you come to common ground on like you're agreeing together as a unit, I feel like in marriage you're a unit.
Yep.
So like
you are one.
You are one.
So is it technically adultery if you are one and you bring in another person? Because if you're both having sex with another person, is that adultery or is that both of you guys having sex with another person? That's a good question.
I feel
You don't know?
hold on. No.
My bad. Don't be my ass. My bad.
No.
Whoa, Jamal. That was me, though. That was me. I was Jamal. I had to not. Go ahead. Get it.
Bro. Man.
You lost your thought? Go ahead. Get it back. Go ahead. You're going to take a 5-second break. All right. You ready? 1, 2.
I feel like I'm back. Guys.
That's good. There's 3 seconds.
I'm going to lose it again. No, I feel like if you, again, it's kind of like what I just said. Like, if you guys are deciding together, then no. I feel like adultery is like doing something without the other person, like without the other person being there and like doing something that like
would harm or disappoint or upset your partner.
Cheating on them. Like I feel like when God was talking about adultery, it's not really like the modern day world. They're talking about you're not sleeping around with people. Like you're committed through God. You're committed like through y'all souls. Like
pastors, if we wrong, pray for us. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. But if we wrong, we learn. I don't think it's adultery either though. I don't think it's I think cheating is adultery on your partner. Granted, it's probably something else that's wrong with that. But I feel like when it comes to like the Bible and marriages and life, the Bible is a guidebook, bro. If you follow the Bible word by word, you will probably have a very good life, very good marriage, very good everything else. But there's a lot of people who make mistakes, and we're born in the flesh. And our nature is sin, so you just gotta be aware of that and kind of combat anything that you feel like is unhealthy for your marriage, and pray and work through it. And I've always felt about it like this: when you're pulled away from it, your body will tell you when you feel like you're doing something wrong. If you have favor with God, your body will tell you when you're not supposed to be doing something that you want to do, or you feel guilty about it, or things like that. And as the Holy Spirit continues to work in you, you will continue to feel more and more guilty about things that you are doing that are wrong. And if you are aligned with God and His Word, you can continue to be able to interpret that and to be able to move more in His light and in His direction. So I think that was. All right, cool. So we call this section Wrap It Up. And this is how we wrap up our episodes. Be able to talk about a topic that's really important to both of us. And sometimes it'll be my question, sometimes it'll be Demi's question, and sometimes we'll leave it up to the guest to have a wrap it up question that we can all kind of share our opinions on and give our answers to. So today's wrap it up question, I'm gonna pull out my phone really quickly, simply because I have it written down here. If you can influence anyone on something that you're passionate about, what is that, and what about it or what experience made you this way?
I feel like speaking up for yourself and standing up for yourself. I feel like that's something that I'm like, if I could like show you or tell you one thing, and I think it's just through having kids and like having to raise people to do everything. Like you don't
Hmm.
even think about these things until you're a parent, and it's like everything I do, everything I do is influencing someone else and
Hmm.
like the way they think and the way they move and the way they operate
Hmm.
and in the world. Like,
When you stop looking at people as bodies and start looking at people as like divine beings, or like they have
mm-hmm,
people who have a spirit and people who
mm-hmm,
make connections with other people, everything really is that deep.
yeah,
Like people say, "Oh, it's not that deep." It really is that deep. Your actions, what you do, how you speak about people, what you talk about, the people that surround you, your circle of influence, um, that really does impact you, and then allow you to be able to impact the rest of the people around you. Keep going. I'm sorry.
yeah. No, I was kind of wrapping it up, but I was just thinking like, yeah, because we wonder like why are we sad or like why are we like
Hmm.
comparing ourselves to other people? But like, who do you like? Who's in your circle? Who are you comparing yourself to? Like,
Hmm.
you kind of have to look, all around and see like,
I want to give you your flowers too. I feel like that's something that you've grown in so much since we've been together, just speaking up for yourself and becoming more confident in
mm-hmm.
your voice. I feel like that's a really big thing about speaking up for yourself, because that just doesn't happen.
No, especially not if you like don't grow up that way. If you grow up kind of like I
Quiet.
said, like hmm?
Quiet is what.
Quiet, yeah, reserved. Like I just
Hmm.
I've always been this way. Like
Do you feel like you have loud thoughts?
yes, very loud
My thoughts
thoughts.
be screaming in my head like,
Turn them down.
nigga, say it.
And it sucks because sometimes it's like, and then I don't even want to let them out because like
Right.
you don't even really know how to communicate them, which is all of this,
Hmm.
and then it's like paired with the day-to-day life, like
Hmm.
you don't even have time to process these thoughts. Like
Yeah. And sometimes you ever said something and people just be like,
Right.
what are you talking about? Like, I feel like that's paired into it.
Yeah. But
And
it like if you don't have a voice for yourself, people will constantly one talk and think for you,
yes,
and two like they'll be pushy. They're pushy on you and
yep,
they like dominate almost.
yep.
And like if you don't want to be that way.
Closed mouths not get fed. I highly encourage parents to allow your kids to speak for themselves. Granted, it'll get them in trouble sometimes, but who gives a shit if your kid is in fourth, third, fifth grade, sixth grade, whatever? Like, who gives a shit if they get in trouble in a little bit because they speak up for themselves? I'd rather have a confident individual who knows how to speak up for themselves than somebody, a church mouse, who can't communicate for themselves. Don't be that parent that enables somebody by speaking for them all the time and not giving them the opportunity to form their own thoughts and opinions. And even if that comes with a little bit of back talk, or even if that comes with a little bit of pushiness, being it, or rebellion is the word I wanted to use. A
Mm-hmm.
rebellious spirit. I feel like all of those things can be grown and worked with.
Especially through like age and experience.
Yeah.
Like the things that you would do at 9 are not the things you would do at 12. The things you would do at 12 are not the things you would do at 16. The things you would do at 16 are not the things you would do at 21. The things you do at 21, you would do at 24,
Hmm.
24, 29,
Yeah.
So
I'd rather
like,
have somebody who talks back to me than somebody who
yeah.
doesn't say anything.
It's
Who
good-
goes back, who goes into their room and thinks about like everything that they could do.
Yeah.
That's scary to me. I'd rather you be able to just use your voice.
Yeah.
And going into mine, I think that was a really good topic. Going into mine is everything is that deep. I want to kind of bounce off of yours to cover like a wide range or multitude of topics. Everything is that deep. How you carry yourself, how you smell, the clothes that you wear, how you physically take care of your body, your fitness. Everything really is that deep, and people will try to disguise it as I'm not capable of doing that, or I'm not capable of doing this, or having excuses for what they're incapable or what they feel like they're incapable of doing. But really, I personally feel like if you take care of yourself, if you are consistent in forming great habits, that will lead to further success of you as an individual, and that will start to expand and your aura will be contagious to other people. I feel like at one point in my life, I had to stay inside a lot because I didn't want to be around people because I felt like my energy was not positive. And that was because of how I was treating myself, the things that I indulged in, the different things that I did, my habits weren't as positive. But as I've continued to start to work on myself with my fitness, with my prayer life, with the way that I communicate with you and the kids and my patients and different things like that, it has made me a lot more confident in myself. Um, and I feel like I fit in more and I have a lot more people that I can reach out to. And I'm starting to become a little bit more social and
Hmm.
being able to just do things because of the steps that I've taken to be able to do so. Like, go ahead, you're about to say something.
But I also feel like that goes into the like mean thing that we talked about in the beginning,
Yeah,
almost like a dark cloud.
yeah,
And like almost like you felt like you had to be this way, but like people were also not affirming that you weren't that way.
hmm,
And that can cause you to kind of isolate yourself when you feel like you don't have a persona to fall back on because you are just you
hmm,
and you are always the same. And
hmm.
do you understand what I'm
Go a
saying?
little bit deeper.
Like I feel like now that you're kind of more open and getting more friends and stuff, I feel like you're just kind of like losing that like feeling like everyone is like, oh, he's so angry,
Angry,
aggressive,
angry,
mean.
troll. Yeah,
Yeah. And more accepting of like,
a lot of different things and just kind of like being
and
free
feeling
flowing.
heard and feeling like
Yeah,
people like understand you more.
yeah. I think that's the benefits of it too.
Hmm.
Just being a little bit. I think that's something that we worked on a lot together too. Kind of balancing and bouncing off of each other's energy. Whereas like you is more stand up for yourself, be a little bit more vocal, be a little bit more confrontational. But with me, it's like being more accepting and
Yeah.
being more understanding and empathetic. Is something that you've preached to me consistently over a long
But
period of
like
time.
I can't preach those things and not be transparent, not be
Mm.
open, not be direct, not speak up. So it kind of goes both ways.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that kind of
That wraps it up. We just wrapped it up once again. Thank you guys so much. We're super excited to continue to do the rest of our season 1, and as many episodes as we decide will be healthy for us. Christmas is coming up soon, so love on your people around you. If
yep.
you don't
Merry
celebrate Christmas,
Happy holiday.
happy holidays to you and love on the people around you. We thank you guys so much. We look forward to more
See,
episodes,
seeing you the next time we
more guests, and yeah, welcome to the Put the Kids to Bed podcast. And y'all have a good rest of y'all days, nights, evenings, afternoons,
whatever.
and furthermore.
Shoot it, it don't touch the rim. No, I'm way too blessed, so I be moving like a king do. She say I'm a king, and I say, babe, that got a ring to it. Whenever that Scotty drop, I know the streets gon' cling to it. Play this every time I pop outside, cause it's my theme music. Pocket full of POCs, glory go to G.O.D. I ain't been outside in a minute, I'm trying to be low key. Made my city great before the mega hats and GOP. When she put that cuffet on by B, she tryna CO me. Let me find out, take a little time out. Everywhere I go, it's pocket change, I bring them dimes out. I don't let nobody cook for me, I'd rather dine out. Praying every day, but God, I know that it's my time now.